Okay, so this is my presentation on the reading burger, which is taken from chapter 4, The Science of Reading and Action. My name's Rebecca Williams, and chapter 4 focuses on layers. Really, really important about building that reading comprehension layer by layer. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that today. So, the overall kind of summarize of this chapter is that comprehension does not happen automatically. Students need strong foundational reading skills along with vocabulary and knowledge, and then in order to truly understand what they are reading. So, this is what I was talking about, understanding the reading burger metaphor. So, have you ever eaten a burger? When was the last time you ate a burger? What was on your burger? If you think about those layers, right, you've got the decoding at the bottom. You've then got fluency, vocabulary and knowledge, and then comprehension to top it all off. And that in itself flows into it. So, the first layer is decoding. So, decoding is represented as the bottom of the bun. It's the start, okay? It's starting to think about letters as a code. And the letter G is seen just as a squiggle on a page till you sound those letters out. Decoding is where reading begins, connecting sounds to letters through systematic phonic instructions. So for example, if you were to do the G sound, you would go, think about where your mouth is. We're going to look at that a little bit more in a second. So this states there are over 7,000 languages in the world, and our brain doesn't just automatically learn to read them. It's a whole process. Parts of our brain use different parts, and it's just a whole process. So as part of that, we can see that speech sound input and output is in the frontal lobe. So these might become squiggles on a page. There was 7,000 languages in the world, and when people learn to read, children and students learn to read, then they begin to make sense of that. And how do we do that? Well, we start off with, for example, the letter G, okay? If we watch the shape of my mouth and the sound that I'm making when I do that, G, G, G. So students start to say like a letter like ah, b, b. Say the sound, show them the sounds with the letter cards, and listen for the sound. And then use that sound to blend the letters together to make a word, to make it make sense. Learning the 75 basic phonemes is the true foundation for literacy and spelling. 98% of English words are the building block. So, there's 5 key questions. So ask your child or your student to get a mirror. And in front of that mirror, as they say the letter G, what are your lips doing? G. What are your teeth doing? You can see that my teeth are G. I'm not touching each other. They're separated. What's my tongue doing? My tongue is touching the roof of my mouth. G. And my voice box is doing. Get your students to put their hand on their voice box, and as they say the letter G, 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 they can feel that vibration. Put their hand in front of their mouth. G, G, G. You can see the breath. You can feel that breath on their hand. They begin to connect that to the sound. So that then leads into fluency. The second layer is fluency. Fluency is represented as a burger pate. That is the main part of the burger. Without the pate, it's just lettuce and bread. It's not very exciting. We've got to make it more exciting. So we've got to have that fluency. So we're going to look at letters, graphemes, and sounds, which are phonemes. So the letters or letter combination we see it in print. And then think about that sound, connecting that sound. And the more you repeat that, the more you continue to repeat that, then students begin to understand those words. Next, we have that layer 3. That is vocabulary and background knowledge. The middle layer of the burger, the toppings. You have tomatoes, lettuce, cheese, mustard, mayonnaise, whatever, ketchup, whatever you want on your burger. That is the topping, okay? So that's the vocabulary and the background knowledge. In chapter 4, Holloway explains that students cannot fully understand text if they do not know the meanings of the words or the concepts and experiences connected to the text. So as you can see, tomatoes, the vocabulary, your vocabulary, how you're talking, and background knowledge is essential for understanding. Students cannot fully understand what they read if they do not know the meaning of the word. So for example, if we had cheese, students will begin to connect cheese to food. Maybe they'll think about a time they've eaten food. Maybe they'll think about a time they've eaten a burger, or a time they've eaten a hot dog with cheese on. And then they begin to connect that to a story. Maybe there's a nursery rhyme. Maybe there's a story about a mouse eating the cheese. They begin to see that connection and see that development within it. And our final layer, to put it all together, our top crown, the top bun, the finishing crown, is represented by Scarborough's reading rope connection. So it aligns closely with the idea that skilled reading combines. So that word recognition, that long language comprehension, then gives you the reading comprehension. So so you can see that chapter 4 aligns closely with the idea that skilled reading combines decoding and the comprehension. It's being able to put that together, being able to make it make sense, being able to comprehend what is behind that, being able to infer what is going on, being able to notice emotion within a story, to notice a difference within the story. So that's the 4 layers, our 4 key layers. We've got decoding, which is phonics instructions. You've got fluency. They begin to say the words. The words then begin to make sense. They begin to connect the words to vocabulary. And then the knowledge, the comprehension at the end of it as well. That is my presentation about chapter 4. Thank you for listening. Mm-hmm.